So AEW has their pay-per-view tomorrow,
Ugh.
and MJF has a match against Wardlow, who's modern day Goldberg. Not important. MJF is saying he's not going to show up to the show tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be interesting. Is that all because of this contract dispute thing?
yeah.
See, I would I would believe it more if they didn't do it on TV. Like they did, like he did the contract thing. He's sitting in the middle of the ring and talking about his contract. It's a work.
It might be at work, but
No, it
yeah,
is.
he.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to air their dirty laundry on TV like that. They're not going to give a whole segment to a disgruntled employee talking about their financials.
And I would have believed that if the whole Cody thing didn't play out.
What do you mean?
Cody. So before Cody left, he was on screen talking about how his contract's expiring. He's working on a handshake deal.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know if he's how much longer he's going to be with the company. He was doing all that. So, and
Right, but he didn't. He
I
wasn't
thought it
saying
was
like
just
I'm
part
going
of
to
the story.
WWE and I don't know. I'm going to go to WWE unless I win this match, and I don't know.
I mean, if it's a work, it's a good work. You know, that's what being in character all the time does for you. But apparently, this whole thing came about today, where the discussion got heated between him and Tony Khan. He booked a flight out of Las Vegas where the pay per view is. So as of right now, he's not in the the state where the pay per view is.
Huh.
So
Well,
it's going to be interesting. And if it's a work, just get some more eyes on the pay per view.
if
It's
they,
like an interesting thing.
I don't know, if they lose
And if
MJF,
it's
that's
not,
TNA 2.0 is in trouble.
I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
It seems like he's money than he is company. Like he's just after the big bucks at this point. Eh, He's his whole thing is about him not being happy with how much he's making, and the other guys getting, you know, more deal. The WWE guys getting more deals.
Mm. Well, he's a wrestler. That's all they care about is money.
And that's and going back to that kind of thing. If we can talk about that for a second, he was a rookie. He was a nobody when he came to the AEW.
No, he
He built
wasn't.
his
He
name
no
there.
no 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 no. He was in MLW. He made a name.
Who watches MLW? Like 500 people.
Hard.
We get more views than them. Well, we don't, but emphasis.
No, he was a big deal there.
I've never watched MLW 1 second of my
Well,
life.
just because you've never watched it, you've never watched New Japan either, have you? Did you watch any Lucha Underground? How about Shikara?
Now you're just making stuff up.
I'm
Shakara. Isn't that a Latina singer
no,
that shakes her ass all the
that's
time?
Shakira. Did you watch any NWA Power?
I did watch NWA, yes.
Okay. So I mean,
I'm not watching MLW.
sometimes you gotta look for the good shit instead of just waiting for it to come on your local TV station.
Well, I'm saying he wasn't a household name. I think the majority of people aren't watching MLW. Maybe hardcore fans are watching it. I mean, obviously someone's watching it if it's a running promotion, but the masses aren't watching it.
Well, just by pure talent, he's the best thing that AEW has.
I
So,
mean, are you going to tell me, let's say AEW wasn't a thing at all,
mm,
and he was still in MLW. Are you going to tell me the WWE is going to have eyes on him and want to pay him big money to come into WWE off of his name he built on MLW?
Probably not. And uh, that's not a detriment to him though. That's more of a detriment to MLW because they don't have as big of a platform. Because as much as AEW is low rent and shit, they still have, you know, a network television show. They're on you know, what is it, TNT?
Yeah, TNT and TBS.
Yeah. So, they're on real TV stations, so they have that platform. So the fact that he got over um, on TNT and TBS, that says a lot, and that's probably what they're looking at. And if he was still with MLW, he'd probably still be over with the internet fans, and they don't give a shit about that. So, to your point, no, you're right.
And again, Tony Khan is the person who honors contracts, good or bad. He honors, like, he's not released a talent unless their contract is expired, except for one person who got Me Too'd. That was the only person that got released out of before the contract expired.
Was that Ric Flair?
No, Jimmy Havoc. That's the story as it goes right now. So it's something that if if he walks out, we'll talk about that next week because I think that'll be a big deal in AEW, well, in wrestling as a whole.
Yeah. I mean,
But does that look good for if you're trying to, let's say you're trying to jump ship to WWE? Does it look good that you're walking out on your company? Like, oh, well, how do we know you're not gonna walk out on us? Like, if you're
no, I don't
trying
think.
to get a new job and you're walking out, Antonio Bryant.
I don't think the WWE gives a shit. They hire people that have publicly talked shit about them and motherfucked Vince, and I mean, people
Oh,
walked out,
that's
they
true.
brought him back. People held him up for money, they brought him back. People have sued him, they brought him back. Uh, Superstar Billy Graham, he brought up the that steroid shit. He almost was the reason why Vince went to prison. I don't think they give a shit about that.
That's true. They do only care about money.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say, just final thoughts on MJF going to WWE as a whole. If the Chappelle Show got moved to Nickelodeon, I don't think it would have the same impact as the show did.
Oh, I don't think if they let MJF kind of let it do his thing, which they won't, he'd be a superstar. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he'll probably just be like Enzo or Sami Zayn.
Yeah, like I said, he was on TV talking about banging skanks and
Yeah.
calling fans fat slobs and all this, that, and the other. He ain't gonna be able to do all that in
No,
WWE.
he'll have to tone it down a
Like,
lot,
yeah,
and he'll probably have to modify how he conducts himself outside the ring.
that's why I said that analogy. If if the Chappelle Show went to Nickelodeon, don't think it would be as good of a show as it was. I don't know. Maybe it still would have been, but I think the cussing and the edginess of it made it what it was.
I don't know. Didn't they have a whole season without Chappelle?